Hi there, Lee Thurburn again, and we are back with Live Stream Lee. And today we're going. Yesterday, I kind of got goofed up in my thinking and got a little embarrassed, and then I got all anxious. And, that happens when you're live, especially when you're trying to show people how to do something and it's not going the way you expect. Sometimes debugging software or debugging workflow processes can be very frustrating. And I will tell you, I got caught yesterday in exactly that situation and felt like I had egg on my face. Well, I've got it all figured out. So I'm going to show you today. I'm going to fix for you. I'm going to show you what went wrong yesterday. But first, let me just say thank you for being back with Livestream Lee. And I do the live streaming for a variety of reasons, one of which is to just share information that I've come across that I think is going to help you. Now, I teach entrepreneurship, I teach business strategy, I've taken a company public, I have a technology company. I've had successes, I've had failures, I'm learning new things. Life goes on and you just do what you can do. Well, I'm literally super excited about what I'm showing you. And so when it didn't go smoothly yesterday, I got real flustered. You probably could tell that if you actually watched yesterday's program. And if you didn't, and you want to watch me be embarrassed, go watch the program. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just jump right in. And I'm going to share the screen with the demo. And I'm going to go ahead and click the demo. Let me make sure that it's being shared. Yes, it is. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into today's program. And I'm going to start in showing you what it is that I had broken and so on. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. We're just going to again, do a little quick review of the app here. I'm going to zoom in a couple of clicks. There we go. Get it right here so you can see it. What I was working on that I got flustered with, what I was working on was being able to connect up the checkout process with orders. And first of all, on the checkout process, I was trying to purchase something that I didn't have card information. I literally wasn't putting card information into the system. So if I click on View Cart, here is the cart. And I was trying to actually see how this would work. Well, since yesterday, I went through the process. Bottom line is the reason it wasn't working is because I didn't put a card in. And the reason I didn't put a card in is because I thought I hadn't connected it up correctly. The reality was I had connected it up correctly. And so bottom line is I didn't need to be all flustered about the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you while this is kind of rebooting and reconnecting here. I'm gonna go ahead and just purchase this, but instead of spending $3.30, I'm gonna notch it down one, and I'm going to just spend $1.70. So I'm gonna go ahead and click Pay Now, and now it's going to say Payment Successful. Yay, payment successful. So I'm gonna go ahead now and come back, and I'm gonna go to my profile. Actually, I'm on my profile. It landed me on my profile. You'll see I've purchased a Toyota Land Cruiser. Here is the Toyota Land Cruiser. I purchased it for $1.67, quantity 1. And this is the order that I placed. Okay, so that basically shows that all that worked. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fine tune a couple of things. So I'm going to go backwards. And I'm going to show you, notice right here, instead of saying $1.67, it says 1.7. And notice that the phone number has some commas in it. So we need to make a few little changes here. And if I go backwards to the cart, you'll see amount to pay $1.7, which is $1.07. I don't have a total price in here. So we're going to try to fix all of these things. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out, and we're going to come over to our order items, which is our detail, which is our cart. And I'm going to zoom in on the cart. And so first, let's look at the order item price. So if I double click on order item price and then I click on the little red chip, notice it says default format. Let's go ahead and change the number format to currency. That'll make it 2 decimals. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now down here on amount to pay, I'm going to click on this little chip, and it also says default. I'm going to make that currency, which is going to make it 2 decimals. So that'll fix the issue of it showing $1.70 instead of $1.67. It basically just rounded up. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here to the total price, and it says total price 0. All right, well, what is the total price? Well, it's based on a custom formula. And the custom formula is not working correctly. And the reason it's not working correctly is because order item price times order item quantity doesn't have an X in between. It's got the multiplier in front. So really what I need to do is I need to get rid of that multiplier. And then I'm going to see if I can put a multiplier. Actually, I need to try to find a spot where I can click to put my cursor. There we go, cursor right in front. Now I'm going to try to make the cursor behind. It's not going to let me do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete both of these. And actually, order item price. So now let's see if I can get my cursor to show up in front of it. It's a little bit finicky. So yeah, it's not going to let me do it. So let's just do this. We're going to delete both of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put order item price times order item quantity. So I'm going to click on the little magic tool, current order item price, and then I'm going to just hit times. Come on, where is my times character? Come on. Let's try this. There's my X. I'll put the cursor in front of the X. There we go. Now I'm going to insert order item quantity. Nope, it doesn't have the X. Okay, so this is a little bit glitchy because there we go. Now I've got to see my cursor is blinking after. So I'm going to go ahead and hit times, and then I'm going to go ahead and do order item quantity. Then I'm going to go find this X right here, and I'm going to move it. Let's see here. It's not letting me do that. So I'm going to put my cursor very carefully. Backspace. There we go. Now, order item price times order item quantity. Okay, so now I've got the formula working correctly. So I'm just going to go ahead and click off of that and save that. So now we're going to have the total price being a custom formula. Now, it would be nice to be able to calculate sales tax. And so let's go ahead and begin the process of creating a sales tax calculation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go first of all look at the database over here on the database. I'm going to look at order items, and I want to see what I've got in order items. I have an order item price, order item quantity, order item photo, order item total price. Okay, so order item total price. Now, that should be a calculated field, but what I want to do is I want to come over here and I'm going to insert a text box. So I'm just going to grab a text box and bring it over and insert it under this list box, okay? So I'm just going to drop a piece of text right there, and I'm going to call this subtotal, subtotal, and I'm going to put a colon, and I'm going to right justify it, and then I'm going to take this box and I'm going to move it over so I have room for the subtotal amount. Okay, so then I'm going to take another text box, and I'm going to put it over here at the end of that one. I'm going to go ahead and shorten it up and just kind of bring it inside the barrier and line it up a little bit. Now this text box is actually going to be what I calculated before. So this is going to be, actually it's going to be the, let's try this. Let's go into order items, order item total price sum. Okay, so we should have a total price right here. And if I double click on this total price, I've got but this variable doesn't put a name. This is not a variable name. We have a custom formula here. Okay, so let's just check the math and see how this works right now by going to preview and let's look at our cart. And look here, we got $1.67. That's correct. We've got a subtotal. We got a subtotal of $1.67. Let's see what happens if we add one. It didn't change our, oh, there it is. It changed our subtotal. Look at 3.3 instead of 3.34. So let's just go fix that right now. So we're going to take this subtotal, click on the chip, make it a currency. So display as currency. Now, what I'm going to do is this list will actually expand automatically if there's more than one. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this space here. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to move this up here, and so that we actually have a little bit of spacing. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so I can get a little bit more granular. Zoom in a little bit more, get a little bit more granular. Okay, zoom out just a tad. Whoops, went out too far. Going to go ahead and bring this inside the box, and then just check that that's inside the box. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab those two. I did that by clicking and holding the shift key down. I'm now going to hit Control C as in cat and Control V as in Victor. I've duplicated them. I'm just going to drag this down. And now I'm going to add a sales tax line. Okay, so I'm going to now click out and then click back on subtotal, and I'm going to do sales tax. Okay, and then over here, we're going to have a calculated field. So we're just going to leave that alone for a moment. And now what we need to do is we need to import and we need to build a sales tax table. Okay, so sales taxes are based upon state, but actually sales taxes are based on zip code. So you can spend a lot of time trying to track shifting sales tax amounts by zip code across all the different zip codes in the United States. What I've done is I've created a table with all the sales taxes on a state-by-state basis. Now, I tried to import, but I imported the wrong table yesterday. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into the sales tax area, and now I'm going to actually, I only have a name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this, and so I'm going to call this first one name. It's going to be state name, and then I'm going to save that, and I'm going to add a property which is going to be number property. And we're going to call this sales tax rate. And since we're in the states, I'm going to go ahead and let's just do this the way we U.S. states _ sales tax rate. Okay, so, and I'm going to go ahead and save that, and I'm going to give this U.S. state name. U.S. state name. There we go. So now I've got two data fields. Think of those as the column headings for two columns. Now I'm going to go to records. I'm going to click on import CSV, and I'm going to go find the file. So I had to click on that. Now we're going to go find the file. I believe I put the file in this folder I have for Adalo, and I'm going to look for all files, and I should have one that says U.S. states with sales taxes. I'm going to go ahead and open that. And here we go. I've got CSV column, state name, state sales tax, property, sales tax rate. I'm going to import the data. This should just take a second. Now we're done. And looky here, we've got sales tax rates for all the states. Like in Texas, if I scroll down, I'm in Texas and I can confirm, where's Texas? Here it is, Texas, 8.25%, 0.0825. Now, interestingly, I was really kind of flabbergasted. Some states, Oklahoma has an 11% sales tax. There are some states that actually have almost 12% sales tax. I just find that mind-boggling. I'm gonna go look at. There we go. Colorado, 11.2% sales tax. Arizona, 11.5% sales tax. I just think that's amazing. All right, so enough of that. Okay, now we've got a table with a sales tax rate per table. The sales tax is applied on the customer based upon where they are located, where you ship to. Now, the reality is you need to do some research about sales tax rates to know whether or not you even need to include them. But I'm just going to work under the presumption that we're going to collect sales taxes for every state, and we're based upon the highest rate in that state. Now, some states have lower rates in, say, rural or urban areas than they do in big cities. So we're just going to use the highest tax rate for the state. Now, that's applied to people. So up here under users, who are the buyers, we already have a field for user state. But that doesn't have a sales tax rate attached to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a connection between the U.S. state tax rate table and the user table. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back down to the U.S. states, and we're going to add another property, which is going to be a relationship to the users. A user has multiple U.S. states. A U.S. state belongs to one user. Okay, so a U.S. state belongs to one user. That's not right. A user can have one U.S. state. A U.S. state can have multiple users. That's the correct relationship. So we can use the states table over and over again. So we're going to call this U.S. states user underscore users. And then we're going to go up here to users, and we're going to call this user U.S. state. U.S. state. All right, so now we have those two tables tied together. Okay, so we're going to ultimately need to have each user, each person making a purchase, we're going to have them choose a state from our state sales tax table. So if we go into the profile where somebody creates a profile, okay, so basically the way this works, somebody comes in, they already automatically have a profile because when they create an account, they create a very basic profile. So they come to here and they click on view, they click on this profile link down here at the bottom in the footer navigation. They go to the profile page, and on the profile page, they have a button that says edit profile, which takes them to this edit profile page. And so on our screen, on this screen, if I click on the profile, we're editing the users and we're updating the logged in user, whoever that is. Okay, there's fields. Okay, so if I scroll down here, you can see state. Well, we don't need the state field anymore. So we're actually going to get rid of the user state field. And I'm going to go back over to the database, and I'm going to get rid, we're in the users database or user data collection. I'm going to come down here to state, and I'm going to go ahead and just delete that because we don't need that anymore. Now, over here, under these fields, I'm going to have to edit the fields list. So I'm still, again, so you'll know I'm on the edit profile page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to fields, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to look for a field that's not visible. It's user US states. And now this is different. This is a select list. And so it's going to be selected. People are going to select the state. But let's clean this up. Let's make it select state and select your state. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and click done. We're going to force people to do this. They're not going to have the ability to edit this record without that. Okay, so now let's just drag this up and put it kind of in the normal sequence. So it's street, city, state, zip. We, for the moment, we're not going to worry about country. And so now we have all of these data fields here. One thing that we don't have is a user profile photo. Let's see if we have a blank field for that. We don't. You know, it's nice to have photos of people. It makes it more friendly, especially as you start to build connectivity. If vendors, they need to have logos. So let's add a visible. Let's go down here to. Whoops, got to go to the database, and under users, let's come down and add. Oh, we got user photo. So we have a user photo. So now what we just need to do is we need to come over to update the logged in user, go to fields, and I don't have, oh, there it is, user photo. It's the last one. Okay, never mind. All right, so now we have all of the data situated correctly. Let's go in and edit the database table to users. I've got me and somebody named Tom, so I'm going to go to my record, and I'm going to come down here to where we added the U.S. state, and I'm going to go ahead and select my state as Texas, so that now we have a user with a state selected. And I'm just going to set my password back again temporarily so I can log in. I'm going to do the same thing for Tom, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Tom a name. I'm going to make sure his name is username. I got him logged in. We're going to give Tom Arizona because they've got a real high tax rate. Okay, so we're going to have the ability to buy two different things. Okay, so we've got two users in the system and we've got a state tax record. So now what we need to do is we need to go over to the orders page. And let me just go ahead and move this over a little bit. And now we're going to calculate the sales tax based upon the following. So we've got the sum, order, total price, and we're going to do times. And I'm going to go ahead and get the logged in user. Oops, logged in user. I'm going to come down here to user state sales tax rate. So whatever that rate is for that that user's state will be our sales tax. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click. Now, I don't want this to take up space, so I'm just going to go ahead and move it outside the range so that, come on, there we go. So it'll actually just show on one line and doesn't interfere. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, I'm going to shift click. I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to now pull this down lower. And I'm going to leave room for shipping cost because we're going to actually add shipping costs, though we won't get that done today. But I'm going to now call this actually, let's move this up. This will be our subtotal. Now, so let's just click on this. Subtotal with sales taxes. Okay, so this is a subtotal with sales taxes. I'm going to click the sum here. And so now we're going to have the sum of the order item price plus the sum of the order item price. So here's the order item price sum times the sales tax. So we're going to go to logged in user, user states sales tax rate. So we've got a plus and then a number times a number. So the operation with the times will always be done first, and then that'll be added to the number. So we actually are going to have, let's go ahead and make this long, even though it'll stick out, it's okay. There we go, because it'll just show inside of here. So now let's go ahead and go look at what we've just done. we're going to log out. So I'm going to log out. I'm going to log in as Tom this time. Well, there we go. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to log in as Tom at tom.com. Tom. I'm going to click login. So now here we go. We're logged in as Tom. I'm going to go click view vendors. I'm going to go to ABC Drilling. And here's a Land Rover. I'm going to price a Porsche 911 for $1.30. I'm going to add this to my cart. And I got a bunch of stuff in here, so I don't want the Toyota Land Cruiser. So I've got a Porsche 911 for $1.27. And I'm going to go ahead and buy 2 of them at this price. And looky here, I've got a subtotal of $2.54. That's $1.27 twice. And I'm showing my formula. I'm not showing the correct number. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to actually need to use a calculator. Okay, so when I say a calculator, we're going to go in here now, and we're actually going to get rid of these 2 things, and we're going to use a formula, and we're going to click on custom formula, and we're going to do exactly what we did before. We're going to go with the order item total price sum, and then we're going to, come on, give us our, I need to be able to, all right, come on, let's get right in front of it. Here we go. Okay, maybe we can just do this. I'm going to do times and see if I can put my cursor right in front of it. There we go. My cursor's right in front of it. So now I'm going to click, let's see here. It's logged in users, user state tax rate. All right. Oh, I didn't put it. So I need to take the X out of here. This would be nice if they would fix this and make this less glitchy. So we'll move that. That's not hitting delete. Backspace doesn't work. So what are we going to do here? There we go. Hit backspace. This is glitchy. So let me see if I can zoom in larger. That's not working either. There we go. Now I can backspace out of that. Wonder if it'll let me come down here. Maybe I can come in front of this. Nope. Let's see if I can come in front of this. No, let's see here. Maybe I can come in front of this. Yeah, this is definitely a little bit of a buggy situation here. Okay, so how am I going to do this? Let's see if I can click somewhere down here. It's not very friendly. Okay, so we're going to get rid of one of those. Actually, I'm going to just get rid of both of those and see if I can do this a little differently. So if I put the times, and then I go in front of the times, and let's see if it'll let me put an order item. Okay, so I'm going to put logged in user state sales tax rate. It doesn't let me do that. Okay, there we go. Now I've got an X. For some reason, now let me put it in. Now I can go ahead and put in order item total price sum, and then I can come back here. A little luck, I'll be able to actually get a cursor placed. There we go. Backspace. Now we've got this working. That's a lot of work right there, that is. I'm telling you what. Okay, so now we've calculated the sales tax and number format. We're going to make the number format currency. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this, and because all of this is wrong, so I'm just going to highlight and delete. Come on, delete this. Well, maybe I'll just back it up here. Okay, so now maybe I can delete that. There we go. Now I can delete that. Now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to move it down, and then we're just going to edit that. So I think that's it. Now we're going to go into this custom formula, and then we're going to see if we can't put our cursor in front, and we'll do a plus sign. There we go. Plus, and then we're going to add the order item total price sum. So now we've got the sum of those two things. So we'll just go ahead and save that. And we're running out of time, so I'm going to be real quick here. We're going to go look at the calculation. I'm going to click on View Cart. And here we go. Look at that. $2.54 plus 29 cents is $2.83. And everything shows correct, but we don't have the amount to pay correct because we have not yet done the same calculation down. Okay, so what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to add in a shipping rate calculation so that when somebody goes through the checkout process, people can buy their items, then they can pay the sales tax on the items, and then they can apply the shipping cost, whatever that is, to their order, and then they get a total that they can then check out and purchase. So, and then we have even more fun stuff. We're going to have to go in and figure out how to take items that are taxable and items that are non-taxable and calculate the sales tax only on the taxable items and not the non-taxable items. So we still have quite a bit to do, and some of it's relatively complicated, but I got to tell you, this is fun stuff. I hope you're having as much fun watching as I am doing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just knock this over. And I do want to talk about two people real briefly. A buddy of mine named Carlos Cantu, who I've mentioned many times. He is a risk management specialist. He's a commercial insurance broker, and his job is to help you make sure that you don't have to pay for issues that come up, like lawsuits and liability events and just stuff that comes up in the course of business that you're not even going to think about. He's a great guy to know. Go to livestreamly.com. You'll see a Carlos Cantu button. Click on it. Another great guy that you really, if you're a history buff like me, you're going to want to know this guy. His name is Dan Nelson. Go to livestreamly.com. Click on the Dan Nelson button and sign up for Dan's newsletter. He sends it out every couple of weeks on Saturday. It is, without a doubt, one of the most interesting reads. It's got a lot of great historical tidbits in it, stuff he uncovers as he's doing research into people's past. Some of them are great stories about people. Some of them are just historical tidbits. Really interesting stuff. It's one of the most fun reads you're going to have. So anyway, a couple of guys that you should get to know. Thank you for your time today. We went a little over. We're about 3 minutes over. So I'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.